It's nearly the end of 2012 and no one's found Coney. What is going on? How's it going, guys? Got you a match against Kaneziken. Actually a rematch. I think this was the very next battle I had after my first battle against him, which I did upload to my channel. If you haven't seen that, go check back in the playlist and it'll be there somewhere. But yeah, this match, I kind of, I think we both changed our teams around, but I kind of had a better idea of what I was doing in this game, and I think it turned out to be a closer game nonetheless. Will I win? Will I lose? Well, you'll have to find out. Don't skip to the end, that's ruining the surprise. He leads with his Rotom Cut, I lead with my Simipour, and I have Ice Beam, but I would imagine that it's probably a defensive thing, looking at the kind of formation of his team. So I'm going to go into my Cryogonal just to take either, I don't know, Discharge or Leaf Storm, whatever. It can take anything pretty well. If he was like a trick set, I would have been pretty annoyed there, but yeah, it turns out I think he is a defensive set, as we find out a bit later on. Now, he sends in Dusknoir, presumably to take Ice Beam or whatever. However, I pull my own switch into my Sigilyph, expecting him to go into his Slowking, I think. I think he has a Slowking. I'll probably say Sigilyph the whole time, but I think you're actually supposed to say it's Sigilyph, so don't criticize me on that. I just prefer the way it rolls off your tongue when you say Sigilyph. Sigilyph. It just sounds so good. Now I get the good end of the switches here finally. I have Druddigon, he had his Archeops, and that is definitely not good for him. Now I can get off a Glare on whatever as the Slacking comes in. Good play probably, I would have probably gone into maybe Slowking or Rotom at that point, but it doesn't matter. Slacking can still do some decent damage. It's probably Choice Banded, maybe max HP. I don't know exactly what kind of EV spread he's running on this, but either way, Giga Impact is going to take me out, and, not really anything I can do about that. Now I go into Emboar, just go for a superpower. And Emboar here, Emboar is going to be the star player of the game. Emboar does massive damage. It's pretty badly walled by stuff like, Quillfish or Slowking. Well, not so much Slowking. Quagsire, stuff like that. But here, Swoobat. Swoobat, whoa, what was that? Some weird little transition on the vid there. Ignore that, never happened. Now Swoobat's in here. Obviously I can't stay in and go for superpowers because it's quad resisted. So I decide I'll just go to my special wall, aka Cryogonal, aka Aku Aku, aka Uka Uka, aka G-Unit, whatever you want to call him. Now, because I have the Haze, I'm not really too worried about anything that this Swoobat can do, despite being a Calm Mind, simple kind of set. It is actually pretty good. It has, what, base 114 speed or something? That's just off the top of my head. And then, you give it the Calm Mind and it can actually do some pretty good damage, but now it goes to Dusknoir. Now this bit here, this bit made me laugh and I felt bad at the same time. Get the freeze on the Ice Beam, which no one ever really feels good when they get the freeze. Freeze is kind of like, oh, you can only get it via hacks, and it's kind of really unpredictable as to whether or not you'll unfreeze or not. And it turns out the case is not in this situation. Trollololololololololol. But in all seriousness, I am very sorry about that, and that's just how it happens sometimes. Go for a Wild Charge, maybe expecting Slowking to come back in, but he probably made the best play here, staying in, letting Dusknoir die. Now, I don't know what kind of set it was. I think I saw leftovers, but you do see the occasional offensive Dusknoir with, like, I don't know, sub-focus punch, and then like sucker punch and shadow sneak or something. That kind of stuff, but yep, that's that thread out of the way. Now in comes the Rotom again. Obviously I can't stay in because I'm locked into Wild Charge. I guess he knows that I am choice banded by this point. Now this bit, I don't know why I did this. I switch into Durant, which by the way is one of my favourite Pokemon in RU, and I really, really wish I used it better this game, because I don't know what I was doing. Go to Durant for no apparent reason, then switch to Cryogonal, which I should have done to start with. I think my only explanation is that I was thinking, oh, me going to Cryogonal would be way too obvious, so he's going to double switch into like Archeops or something, but I don't know how it worked out. Either way, now I'm in here with Sigilyph, and he goes for a Discharge. That does way more than I'd like it to, even after a Calm Mind, and the unfortunate thing is, I don't think I have Roost, or maybe I do have Roost. I should have had either Roost or Signal Beam, and I guess if I had Signal Beam, I would have gone for it there, so maybe I did have Roost and I didn't want to kind of get into a sort of, oh, wait for the Parahacks kind of war, because as soon as that happened, he'd kill me anyway, so yeah, getting round to about half HP, I guess, I decide, you know, I'll just cut my losses with Sigalith, let him do some damage, and then die off. Now, in comes the Quillfish. I wish I predicted this, but I wasn't willing to take the risk on the Rotom in case it went for Discharge and paralyze me. Go for a superpower, that's going to do absolutely nothing to Quillfish because a little pufferfish mace thing looks like you could grab it by the tail and sort of swing it around your head, use it as a medieval weapon. That thing is surprisingly bulky for a little guy. Now I switch out, go into Durant. He goes for Taunt. I don't know if he was expecting Durant or maybe Cryogonal, but either way, it now means I can't go for Home Claws or Baton Pass, so I'm going to have to just hard switch out. I don't really feel like trying to attack this guy because, well, A, he has good physical defense, and he resists my stab, and B, I have Hustle, so I don't feel like chancing that. Now I switch back out to my Emboar. Just kind of, you know, fingers crossed he didn't go for the Waterfall then, which he doesn't. Praise the Lord. Emboar gets to live for a bit longer. Swoobat comes in. I'm going to go for a Wild Charge on whatever. Doesn't really matter what he brings in. Something is going to take a big, choice-banded, meaty, beastly hit, and it turns out it's going to be Swoobat. Bye, Swoobat. Now in comes the Quillfish once again. Even though I am locked into Wild Charge and it will do reasonable damage, I don't think I can OHKO it, and I'd rather keep my Emboar for a bit later. Try and do a bit more damage a bit later on. So I go to Cryogonal as it goes for Waterfall. Now Cryogonal, for anyone who's never played RU, Cryogonal has, I think, base 4 or base 6 defense. Nothing to write home about. Very bad. That's what you get for having great special defense. Hence the extreme damage done by the Waterfall, but there is a bright side. I do manage to live just, and I go for a Rapid Spin just to get rid of the rocks. Now here, he makes a great play, goes into his Archeops just because he knows I'll go for the Rapid Spin. Now the problem is here, this bit I also feel bad for. Goes for Stone Edge, and what do you know? Cryogonal dodges it with Ninja Reflexes and takes him out with an Ice Beam. Obviously there's no question as to whether or not Stone Edge would have killed. Like I said, it's Cryogonal, paper thin. But, you know, that Stone Edge, I mean, I guess he could have gone for U-turn, but then he would have been brought into Defeatist range coming back in. He could have gone for Acrobatics, but that would have wasted the Flying Gem, so I don't know. I probably would have gone for Stone Edge too in that situation, but that's Stone Edge. You can't really control the accuracy in that sense, but now he brings in his Quillfish again. Turns out I'm actually faster, which I guess makes sense. I think Cryogonal has like base 90 something speed. It's not too bad. Get off an Ice Beam nonetheless, and I doubt that damage mattered because now, you know, he does go for a Waterfall. Almost takes me out. Live on 7 HP, and, you know, I am literally getting through this match by the skin of my teeth. There's so many opportunities for him to get, like, you know, a bit more damage or a bit less hacks on his side, and he'd be doing, you know, a lot more damage to my team. And for that, I apologise. Now he brings in Rotom. I bring in Chadred, Simipour, and what better way to finish off a game than to go for that choice Scarfed Hyper Beam and take out the Rotom, and, you know, if it missed, I did still have Durant, and if Durant missed, well, then I'd be dead. That's not how it happened, thank God. Simipour takes out the Rotom, and that will be the game. So, an interesting rematch. I can't help thinking that he probably would have won had he got a bit less hacks in my favour, but who knows, all up in the air. But it was a great game nonetheless, so I hope you all enjoyed. And with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.